welcome everybody. Thank you all for joining the call, and if you could just let me know where you're dialing in from today, it'd be really helpful. Great to have you on board with the topic Enhance Your Performance with an Effective Sleep Pattern. And on this webinar, we're going to look at ways to maximize your sleep while optimizing sleep time, which will lead to you being more productive and happier as well. We spend 1/3 of our lives sleeping, so I think it's really important that we're able to try at least to get it right. So I'm going to share lots of strategies with you in the workshop today. It's going to last for about 30-35 minutes, and there'll be a little bit of time at the end for questions and answers, and I'll also be offering you something free at the end. So what I'd love you to do is just grab a pen and a piece of paper, because there's lots of notes to be taken. Close any unnecessary browsers and applications and just give to yourself this 40 minutes, because I can guarantee you it could be a game changer for you. So very quickly, just to introduce myself, Margot Fox is my name. I'm a mindset and wellbeing coach, and I'm a former director of the Irish and British Mindfulness Institute. And I help leaders and organizations build resilient teams who can navigate and succeed in this marketplace without burning out, which is a very important part of it. And I work on a one-to-one basis, and I work with groups as well. So for all of us, the past 2 years of the pandemic has presented huge challenges. And according to the research, more than half of Irish people say that they have experienced an increase in sleep disturbances since the beginning of the pandemic. And this is obviously as a result of anxiety, worry, social isolation, financial worry, and worry about your own health and the health of your loved ones as well. And as we move out of the pandemic, the research actually states that it takes 9 months for your brain to adapt to the new world. And this can continue to disrupt your sleep as well. So if you have problems as a result of the pandemic, or if you have had problems sleeping for years and it's getting in the way of your performance, or if you just like to get into a better sleep routine, this webinar should really, really help you, and I'm excited to be running it for you. I'm going to be asking lots of questions, and I'd like you to engage your brain and respond, because I really want to try to give you as much value as possible on the webinar. Very quickly, I've spent 10 years coaching mindfulness and designing coaching programs and mindfulness programs for thousands of people, along with everything related to mindset, resilience, and sleep. So you are in good hands, and so let's move forward. This workshop is for you if you see a drop in your productivity and it's affecting your sleep, if you feel that you don't have a healthy sleep pattern, if you feel that technology is getting in the way and interrupting your sleep, or if you feel exhausted and you're on the verge of burnout. So, quick question. Tell me, what brought you here today? Why did you sign up for this event? What issues are you having concerning your sleep? Have you always had a problem with sleep? Is it as a result of the pandemic and maybe what else is going, all of the other crazy stuff that's going on in the world? Or maybe it's hormonal changes that are causing problems with your sleep. Let me know in the chat, because once I know, I can help you better. So just let me know, why are you on? What are the problems? Waking up too late from work. I'm a night owl. Okay. Tired in the morning and awake at night. Okay, we're going to look at that, Hannah. Thanks very much for that. You have established what your chronotype is. You are a night owl, and there are things that you can do to mitigate that. So we'll definitely look at that. Matt says, never wake up feeling refreshed, broken sleep. Okay. Audrey says, stress, hormonal, has an impact on my sleep, sporadic sleep. Right, okay. Okay, so a myriad of different ways that it's showing up for people. Thanks very much for the feedback. Always wake up feeling tired. Yes, as if you haven't capitalized on the sleep. No, not enough hours to sleep, and I'm really, really tired when I wake up, Karen. Right, when I wake up. Okay. How many hours? No matter how many hours I sleep. Sorry, I always tired when I wake up. Okay. So let's just establish maybe what type of sleep you're getting. Lack of energy, attentiveness for my work with all my commitments. Right, Gregory? Yeah, yeah. And revenge, bedtime procrastination. Yes. Okay. Hannah, yeah, I get that. Maybe being on your phone or watching programs that that really aren't beneficial to creating a sleep pattern for you. Great. Listen, thank you so much. That's given me an idea of what's happening. So let's move forward because I can definitely help you. Giovanna says, I've been trying to get 8 hours every day now, but I recently woke up so tired, and for the whole day I've lack of motivation. Right, we're going to look at that whole idea of 8 hours sleep and the myth that is 8 hours sleep, Giovanna. So let's move on now. Thank you all very much. So what is clear from the research is that prior to the Industrial Revolution, interrupted sleep was less of a problem, believe it or not. Okay, pre the Industrial Revolution, people used to actually have 2 sleeps. So they'd have 1 sleep, they'd wake up in the middle of the night, and they would might have something to eat, they might play cards, they might read, they might have sex, they might do a bit of stretching, and then they go back to sleep again. But when the Industrial Revolution came along and there was electricity was introduced, then the whole idea of compacting your sleep into 8 hours became the modus operandi per se. Okay, so that was a way that people felt that they could maximize their productivity, but that wasn't necessarily helpful. Because if you think about people, for example, like Maggie Thatcher is actually able to survive on 3 or 4 hours sleep, or was able to survive, sorry, whereas Roger Federer, the tennis player, he apparently needs 10 hours sleep. Okay, so one size doesn't fit all when it comes to sleep, in the same way as one diet doesn't fit all and one exercise plan doesn't fit all. So there is a myth around this 8 hour sleep rule, which we'll go into as we move along. So in this webinar, I'm going to show you how to map your own personal sleep cycle so that you become more confident, more successful, happier, and more productive. So why is sleep so important, first of all? There's a lot of burgeoning research around that draws links between poor sleeping habits and an array of health and psychological issues, like everything from type 2 diabetes to heart disease and obesity, right through to anxiety and burnout. And what does sleep actually do? So the research demonstrates that our brains effectively wash away all of the waste toxins during sleep. And failure to get enough sleep and clear all of these toxins is linked to a host of neurological disorders, including Alzheimer's. So if that's not enough for us to sit up and take notice, I don't know what is. So let's move on now, and we're going to talk about the circadian rhythm. The circadian rhythm. Anybody know what the circadian rhythm is? Anybody know? I'll give you an explanation. It refers to the physical, mental, and behavioral changes that occur in all living things over a 24-hour cycle. And it's regulated by light and by darkness. And it works in harmony with the Earth's rotation. So our body clock is set by external cues. So that's daylight, temperature, and eating times. So this is how our ancestors used to live in harmony with nature. So what they used to do was they'd get up the minute they saw the dawn, they'd get up and start moving around, etc. And then the minute the sun began to set, they'd light a fire and they would sleep by the light of the fire, okay? Now, you might say, well, oh, hold on a moment, listen, you know, I can't do that in the modern times that we're living in. But I'm going to show you a way that you can mirror your own rising and your sleep to this pattern as much as possible. Because being aware of your body clock in your day-to-day life, it's going to allow you to begin to understand, you know, why am I feeling so lethargic? Why am I really struggling with sleep? And light is a really, really important time setter for your body clock. And the light comes from obviously the daylight, but it also comes from gadgets as well. Okay, and we'll talk about the negative impact of gadgets. But light actually improves your alertness and it improves your performance as well. A really, really important thing to take home from this webinar, if you take home nothing else, is that it's really important that every single thing you do during the day, from the minute you wake up in the morning to the minute you go to bed at night, is going to affect your sleep. It's not just about you getting to bed at a certain time. It's everything that you do throughout the day. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how to develop a pre and post sleep routine, which is vitally important to the quality of sleep you have, okay? So I'd like to ask you, what is the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? What's the first thing you do? What's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? Drink a glass of water. Great. Great, Giovanna. Anybody else? Drink a pint of water. Excellent, Karen. Look at my phone, Matt. Okay. Look at the time. Okay. Radio goes on. Right. Okay. So, first of all, Matt, the phone is a no-no. The phone is a no-no. And I will tell you why in a minute. Radio goes on. When you get up in the morning, it's okay, Matt, don't worry, we're all here to learn. When you get up in the morning, you need to begin to ease yourself into the day. Ease yourself into the day. If you really feel the need to check your phone, don't check your phone for a minute, a minimum of 20 minutes, right? Anybody, when they get up in the morning, somebody does yoga? Anna does yoga and meditation. Fantastic. Easing yourself into the morning. That's brilliant. A1, Anna. Okay. Anybody get up in the morning, throw themselves out of the bed, look at their phone, look at their phone, throw themselves out of the bed, maybe throw themselves into the shower, run downstairs, grab a snack, run out the door and head straight to work. Anybody do that? Okay. If you do that, okay, that is really detrimental to your day. Okay, because you're out of step with your own rhythms, okay? Think about caveman times. During caveman times, they got up, they had their breakfast. I don't mean to be crude, but they had a bowel movement, because if they didn't and they were out hunting, they would be in trouble if they hadn't done it previous to that, okay? So in the morning, don't look at your phone for a minimum of 20 minutes. Give yourself up, ideally 90 minutes from the moment you wake up in the morning to the moment you get to work, to ease yourself into the day. 90-minute cycles we're going to be talking about a lot here. So a 90-minute cycle to get yourself out of the bed and to work. Open the curtains. The first thing to do, open the curtains. Natural light will actually indicate that your body needs to start slowly waking up, okay? So that's really, really important. If possible, and you have the time to go for a walk in the morning, get out and start moving, because the daylight will help to trigger the waking process as well, okay? So that's the morning. Ease into the day. Keep away from the phone for a minimum of 20 minutes. Before your pre-sleep routine, so let's move through the day now and get to kind of late afternoon, early evening. If you have an exercise regime, for example, let's say you go to the gym at 7 or 8 o'clock at night and you go to bed at 10 o'clock, right? Hitting the gym in the evening, just be careful about that, because what actually happens when you hit the gym in the evening is that your blood pressure is the highest at this time. And there might actually be a better time to do a workout. So maybe you could move it back to the afternoon, maybe at lunchtime, or maybe 4 o'clock, if you get up to about 4 o'clock at the latest to hit the gym, okay? Think about the rhythms of your body. When you're using technology, let's say, for example, you have to work late, you come home and you have to work late, and you're on your laptop, and then you close your laptop and you say, okay, it's time for bed, right? And then you have difficulty sleeping. The reason you have difficulty sleeping is because you need time to let the pineal gland function efficiently and start to produce melatonin, so that, which is the sleep hormone. Okay, so if you have to work late, you turn off your laptop and leave it at least an hour, if not longer, before you actually go to bed. Anybody on their phone before bedtime? Are you sitting in bed scrolling on your phone? Have you got a TV in your bedroom? Okay, these are all a no-no. Get yourself an ordinary alarm clock, just a regular, old-fashioned alarm clock, so that you're not actually on your phone before you go to bed at night. Matt, my God, Matt, I don't know what we're going to do with you. Anyway, you know what to do now, Matt. Leave the phone downstairs, get yourself an ordinary alarm clock or something else that you can use, because what's happening is that blue light is going to keep you awake, the blue light from the phone, okay? They interrupt the production of melatonin, okay? So 90 minutes before you decide to go to bed, you're beginning to start winding down, in the same way as when you wake up in the morning, you're giving yourself 90 minutes to warm up. When you go to bed at night, you're giving yourself 90 minutes to begin to prepare yourself for sleep. So in that 90 minutes, you can do everything from, having lower lights, yellow lights, orange lights, maybe candles, etc. Okay, so that's triggering your brain, and it's beginning to realize that it's time for sleep. Okay, you could have a warm shower, not a really hot shower, but a warm shower. You could do some stretches, etc. Okay, so that's your preparation for sleep. And the most effective sleeping period is between 2 and 3 a.m. 2 and 3 a.m. Okay, so just get outside. The peak sleeping time, 2 to 3 a.m. Slow down in the morning. Blue light is really bad. And picture yourself as if you're on an island and you're responding to the circadian rhythms. So you are getting up slowly and then winding down slowly in the evening. Okay, so owls and larks. We had somebody there earlier saying that she was a lark. Okay, what are you? Does anybody know what you are? Do you know your chronotype, your sleeping characteristic? Are you a morning or an evening person? Let me know in the chat. The owl, the evening person, likes staying up late. They need an alarm clock to wake them up. They have they're partial to nap during the daytime. They often skip breakfast and they sleep in on days off. So we have a few morning people, we've one owl. Right, the lark or the morning person generally wakes up naturally, enjoys breakfast, loves the morning, and tends not to need an alarm and is less likely to be fatigued during the day. Okay, so we've a couple of owls and we've some larks as well. If you don't know your chronotype, you can Google it on the University of Munich chronotype questionnaire. Okay, so you can write that down. The University of Munich chronotype questionnaire. Now, we tend to mask our chronotypes with alarm clocks and overstimulation. And high use of caffeine, we all know it can cause anxiety and agitation, and it's more difficult to go asleep and remain asleep. So write this down in connection with how much caffeine you can drink per day. This is according to the Food Standards Association. It recommends 400 milligrams of coffee per day, 400 milligrams. So a single espresso is about 75 milligrams, and a home brew coffee is 200 grams. So that's not a lot of coffee. If you're drinking coffee on the hour, maybe that's a good explanation for why you can't sleep. And also remember that coffee has a life of up to 6 hours. And tea contains 25 to 100 milligrams of caffeine, sorry. Okay. So when you are an owl, you find it more difficult maybe to wake up in the morning. You're not as alert in the morning. So then try to work your working day around when you are most alert, which is more than likely in the afternoon. So do the easier stuff in the morning and concentrate on the harder stuff and the stuff that requires more the thinking brain to take over in the afternoon. So that's for owls. Larks are really up and out and ready to go in the morning. So do your most productive work in the morning and do the easier work in the afternoon. Okay? And if you're in a relationship and you're an owl and the other person is a lark, you're going to need to compromise. So maybe the lark brings up the cup of coffee in the morning to the owl to wake him or her up. And then maybe in the evening, the owl does a bit more work around the house so that the lark can go to bed, okay? Because that can often be a problem in relationships. So I think we've covered all of those, knowing your chronotype, manipulating your day to suit your chronotype. Use caffeine more as a strategic move rather than as a stimulator. So let's say, for example, you have a meeting and you really need to be alert for the meeting. Use the caffeine, take the caffeine before the meeting so that you are alert, okay? PMers, which is the same as owls, don't lie in at the weekends, right? It is a myth that you can actually catch up on sleep when you lie in. You can catch up on sleep with napping, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, but not by lying in, okay? And right, the rest of what we've covered there, so I'll move along. Now, okay, so in order to organize your sleep cycle, we need to approach it in the following way. So the first thing you need to do is you need to set up a wake time, and you need to stick to that wake time, not only all week, but at the weekend as well. Okay, and if possible, your partner needs to do the same. So that's the first thing. Set a wake up time. Second thing you need to do is to think of sleep in 90-minute cycles, not hours, right? 90-minute cycles. Okay? So if you're getting up at 7:30, you're going to think about how many cycles you can get in before 7:30, and I'm going to show it in a chart here in a minute, okay? Your sleep time's flexible, but the ideal amount of cycles is that you have 5 cycles of 90 minutes. 5 cycles of 90 minutes in a night, okay? Do not panic if you don't have a good night's sleep, because it won't kill you, right? And try to avoid 3 nights of fewer than 5 cycles of 90 minutes, okay? So you're aiming to achieve the 5 cycles of 90 minutes 4 times a week. 5 cycles of 90 minutes 4 times a week. Okay, so I'm going to show you how that works here. Now, so if you see there that you are you are getting up at 7:30 in the morning. And if you actually count back, you will see that you have 5 cycles of 90 minutes, which takes you to midnight, right? So that means that you have to be asleep by midnight in order to get up at 7:30 in the morning. And so your pre-sleep, the 90 minutes before you sleep, is when you start winding down, turning down the lights, doing a bit of stretching, maybe having a shower, etc. And then when you wake up at 7:30 in the morning, you have another 90 minutes to get yourself up and running. So, if you're having problems before you go to bed, and you have things that are worrying you, you have racing thoughts, take out a piece of paper, dump it all on the page. Everything that you're thinking, all your worries, everything, dump it on a page. Okay? And then throw it away, because once you can empty it out of your brain and put it onto the page, in a lot of cases you'll discover that it's not that big a worry at all. Okay? Any emails that you need to send, put them in drafts. If you don't want to send them that night, put them in drafts and you can send them the following morning. Okay, so that's the brain dump. Right, we're going to go quickly through napping. Napping is so beneficial, really, really powerful, and everybody needs to be able to learn how to nap. And if you can learn to nap, you're in great company with the likes of people like Napoleon Bonaparte and Bill Clinton, etc. Okay, and it's that whole idea of, you know, the siesta. So how do you nap properly? You can nap, there are 2 times in the day when you can nap successfully. That's between 1 and 3 and between 5 and 7 in the evening. You can nap for a minute of 30 minutes to a maximum of 90 minutes. And when you nap, you will be able to, let's say, for example, you missed a cycle of sleep the night before, you can actually make up that cycle when you nap. Okay, so really, really important to learn to nap. You can do that anywhere. You can just sit on a seat in work. You can put your meditation app on. You can just close your eyes. You don't have to go to sleep. What you're doing is just downloading the beginning of the day, processing it all. So you don't need to be asleep to do it. If you're just doing 30 minutes, you can, and you're worried that you're going to be groggy after you finish 30-minute sleep or relaxation, have an espresso coffee beforehand, because that will kickstart you after the 30 minutes. And then you can do the nap again then in the evening, between 5 and 7, to prolong your evening. So between 30 minutes and 90 minutes is the ideal amount of time to get sleep. Okay, so let's move on. At work, during the day, you know, as I said, really important, everything that you do during the day will affect how your sleep is in the evening. Try to take regular breaks in work, every hour to 90 minutes. You know, switch off, go off, have a chat with someone, make yourself a cup of tea or whatever. Try to get out in the daylight at lunchtime. Another really, really important way of helping sleep as well. Okay. So much here. I'm just trying to run through it quite quickly, but I can share the slides with people if they need them afterwards. Okay. So what's the best way to sleep? Sleep on your side is the only way to sleep, okay? And sleep on your non-dominant side, right? So for example, I'm right-handed, so I sleep on my left. And you're sleeping in the fetal position with a gentle bend, and you've got kind of a smooth kind of straight spine, right from the neck right down through your spine and into your bottom, okay? The brain likes this position because you feel secure and you've less of a chance of waking up. If you do wake up, do not panic, do not go on your phone, do not turn the television on, just lie there and breathe. Lie there and breathe. Breathe in for 7, breathe out for 11. And you will quite quickly fall back asleep again. Okay? Arrange your bed in a way that it is comfortable and also that your room is comfortable as well. In relation to your bedroom, the mattress is really, really important. You need the right mattress to be able to keep your spine straight when you're in the fetal position. Okay, and if, for example, you lie onto your mattress and you find that your head is going up without the pillow, so lie on your mattress, and if your head is slightly lifted, that might mean that your mattress is a bit soft. Okay, so you need to put a pillow underneath it, or you might need to put a topper on the mattress. Okay, so be really, really, the mattress is really important in terms of the type of sleep you get. Also, when you're talking about a double bed is actually only for a single person. When you're an adult, when you're a child, it's fine. But a double bed is actually only for a single person. And therefore, a genuine double bed is actually a super king. If two people are sleeping in it, it's actually a super king because you need that space in the bed, okay? And then the actual sleeping environment. So make sure that your room, that you've got your blackout blinds. Empty your room of anything that's not connected with sleep and rest, etc. Keep your room kind of cool, maybe around 18, 19 degrees. Have a nice natural decor and control the tech in your room. If possible, have as little tech as possible in your room. So your space, your recovery room needs to be separate from the house, but it needs to be a really, really relaxing space. So don't underestimate the work that you put into to make it a relaxing space. That will affect your sleep. Okay? So very quickly, we've covered everything at the rate of knots, mapping your sleep, the power of naps, and setting the environment as well. So, let's say your sleep routine is not the only challenge you have. Let's say you have a lot of stress in your life. Let's say you have a lot of overwhelm. Let's say you're feeling burnt out. There could be other issues that are affecting your sleep as well. So for those who are interested in dealing with sleep alone, I'll say goodbye to you now, and I hope that you have enjoyed the webinar. Well, actually, I won't say goodbye to you because Saoirse wants to tell you something at the end, but I'm rounding up on the sleep element of things now. If you're interested in learning about managing the stress, I'll speak to you a little bit about that. So how do you introduce new strategies that actually work, that help you to live in the moment, manage anxiety, enjoy relationships? Because it is entirely possible, and it's all about managing your mindset. Everything you do, everything you have in your life, your bank account, the car you drive, your success, etc., it all comes down to mindset.